Welcome back to our special focus on crime. There's been a rise in violent crimes like murder and attempted murder in South Africa. The country recorded 6,859 murders in the last 3 months of 2021, and citizens are demanding more police visibility to ensure their safety. Our senior reporter Aviwe Mila is following this angle of the story for us. He joins us now live. So Aviwe, you've been to different areas today understanding the issue of crime. What are people telling you in Alex?
Well, Shahan, it's an issue that's plaguing the community of Alexandra. You see the high-rise buildings that are towering behind me. That's Africa's Golden Square Mine, Sandton. And just across the street here, it's a total contrast. That would be the township of Alexandra. Of course, it's plagued by violent crime. And in fact, I was speaking to an elderly lady who suffered that brunt of that crime just over a week ago. On the 5th of May, Mama Monica was telling me how criminals, 3 of them, came in around midnight while she was sleeping, breaking into the burglar gate and the door. They had torches, pointed her with a gun, telling her to shush, but of course she screamed at the top of her lungs, and in fact eventually those criminals were apprehended after taking her television set and running away with it. Those criminals were forced to go point out where these items were. Although she couldn't retrieve her personal belongings, there were belongings that were retrieved from other community members. That's the extent that the community members have now had to come with, as the police only came hours later as the community members were preparing to even burn these community members. That's the difficulty that the community members of Alexandra are faced with, having to take on these criminals themselves. This conversation that I had with one of the community leaders there, Baba Linda Twala, who has been living in Alexandra for 77 years. You know, the township is 110 years old. And she's told me that the big issue that they face, aside from the inequalities, and given that the workforce of Sandton is the majority, the people of Alexandra, he says that the biggest headache is the issue of drugs and what then these criminals do when they are under the influence of drugs. Let's take a listen to that.
No person can go and rape an elderly person or do what they do by stealing electricity cable. It's all because of the people that are using drugs. And these drugs are not manufactured in Alexandra. There are people who are bringing these drugs into Alex, taking them into Alex. And their children are in multiracial schools. They dare not smoke drugs, but our children are drowning themselves in drugs. And I still say, what have we done to deserve to live like this? Because 28 years or 29 years down the line, we're still living in squalor. Yet there is land around us.
And Dorado Park is known as one of the areas for crime, drugs. You caught up with the councillor there. What is he telling you?
Well, Dorado Park, Shahan, is one of the areas that we've covered extensively, especially since the death and the killing of Nathaniel Julie, 16-year-old, who was shot by police. 3 of the South African Police Services member at the Dorado Park police station are currently undergoing trial for that very murder of Nathaniel Julie. It's the biggest headache that the community tell us, the inefficiency of the police and just the brazen corruption that happens in those police stations. In fact, we were told by the councillor that there's a new police station commander of Dorado Park police station, and that police commander is basically not even active with the councillors, not active with the different community forums, and it's a matter that they now have to take upon themselves as well, going in, forging police forums that have to grapple with the crime that is plaguing Dorado Park. In a conversation that we had once more with Dwayne Pononsby, let's take a listen to that.
We as a community saw the void, because what was the void? The void was SCPS. It was response. And I want to say this also. Our precinct has joined so much. Our community has grown exponentially. Freedom Park has joined. Slovo Park has joined. Our resources at our police station has never grown. We didn't receive vehicles. We didn't receive manpower. So this current 27-man shift is inundated with calls, and they cannot keep up with the calls. That's a fact. That's a fact, and that they want to speak on behalf of them. They cannot keep up with the amount of crime. And crime now looks intensive, and it looks intensified because there is no visibility from police.
Interesting, though. It seems like there's some positive change in Diepsloot. Tell us more.
Well, you'd remember that Deep Sloot was thrust into the spotlight just at the beginning of last month because of the brazen murders, an increasing number of murders that were happening. You remember we were the first on the ground after we were told that at least half a dozen people were killed on the weekend in Deep Sloot. We were there talking to the community members. They were telling us of the eNCA, also the police issues, the lack of visibility in policing, and of course there was intervention from the highest office. Police Minister Peggy Cele was on the ground, flanked by Police Commissioner Fani Masimola, just among some of the government officials that were on the ground grappling with the crime issues in El Dorado. We heard those interventions where we're told that at least 120 more police members from the tactical response team as well as the public order policing would be on the ground in El Dorado Park. Among other interventions, there would be an additional 16 vans, police vans, on top of the 6 that they originally had. We were in Deep Sloot once more today, and we're told by the community members there that things have turned for the better, Shahan. The women were telling us that they feel safer now walking at night in Deep Sloot because the police are there, they're visible. The gunshots that would ring into the night, even during the day, is a thing of the past now. But the biggest fear at the current moment is that that measure being more permanent, because they fear that after 3 months, these enforcements and these measures that have been put on the ground will be taken away, given that that happened back in 2020 already, where there was the TRT on the ground and the POP also on the ground, and weeks later those were taken away. So they fear that while things may be looking for the better now, they hope that there will be more permanent measures. That's a conversation I had with the councillor there, Abraham Mabuke. Let's take a listen to that.
We told the Minister of Police that we need sustainable program. 3 months is a short period. We need them to operate like this each and every day, each and every month, each and every year, to do like this. We are still going to say 3 months is not enough. We want the visibility of this police every day in Deep Sloot so that we live in peace like the way how we live now.
All right, we can leave it right there. Our senior reporter, Aviwe Mila.